What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Winder's Whiteboard, where you get fitness advice from some guy who lives in his grandma's basement. Today's video topic, my current diet and my diet for the next 18 weeks as I approach my show. Now, I want to show you how I fairly easily lose fat. I have a tendency to lose fat a little bit easier than I do gain muscle. So I'm not too worried about my cut, and I'm pretty sure that this is going to go exactly as I have planned. Obviously, there's going to be road bumps along the way, but give you guys an idea of what I'm going to do to remedy those. So we'll start off with what I'm currently doing, and then we'll transition into what I'm about to do for my diet for the next 18 weeks. Now, right now, I've been gaining about a pound a week. The last couple weeks I had to regain some weight from being sick a couple weeks ago, so I've been gaining a little more than a pound a week, but that was just refeeding my body so that I could catch up to that deficit that I had. Over the last week or so, I've been gaining right around a pound a week. Now, I've been on 4,200 calories a day, somewhere around 250 grams of protein, somewhere around 500 grams of carbs, and somewhere around 125 grams of fat. That's just kind of close estimates to what I've been at. Usually about 6 days a week I'm pretty strict, and then 1 day a week I'm not quite as strict, but definitely know that I'm in an excess and I'm focusing on getting in enough protein. So I've been doing 4 days a week of lifting currently. I'm on what's called a DC two-way split. So it's dog crap training two-way split. I'm doing chest, back, and legs on a rotation, and then I'll do chest right after legs for that 4th day of the week. Then next week would start with legs, then back, and so on. And I've been doing no days of cardio. I've been really feeling that recently. I've been feeling lethargic at the end of my workouts. I'm getting tired. I know there's a big difference in when I have my cardio up and when I'm fairly fit and active versus when I've just been gaining weight and lifting weights. I'm starting to get tired, and that's right around the time where I like to cut back down. Right now I weigh about 198 pounds, so I have a plan to cut down to somewhere around 180-ish. I'm going to stop more at when I get to the leanness that I want to be, and not necessarily at a certain body weight, but I estimate at somewhere around 180 pounds, maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower. Now, let's transition into what I'm about to be doing for the rest of the cut. I want to start losing somewhere around a pound a week. I've got 18 weeks until my show. Right now I've got 18 and a half weeks, but next week is when I start my diet, and I plan on losing somewhere around a pound a week, which is going to be somewhere around 0.5% of body fat per week, and go from there. On the first week, I'm going to start with a mild calorie deficit. So you'll notice it's only 300 different in my first week to 3,900 calories. I know my body, and I also know that I drop typically a couple pounds in that first week, especially if I drop my calories down too low right off the bat. So I'm going to keep it a little bit more around maintenance and then kind of go from there. Now, that's just going to be week 1. Each week I'm going to drop this a little bit. I'll get into that later. Now, I want to bump up my protein a little bit so that I hold on to as much muscle mass as I can. Also, protein's a little bit more filling as a food source. So like meats typically fill you up and keep you full longer than other foods like carbohydrates and rice. So I'm going to decrease my carbohydrates a little bit, increase my protein intake a little bit, and then the majority of my calorie decrease is going to come from my fats. I'm already taking in a lot of fats, and I've been taking in extra fats, specifically lots of extra peanut butter, because it's difficult to eat so much volume of carbohydrates, and when I'm trying to eat around 4,300 calories in a day, so I'm been increasing my fats because they're a little bit easier to eat. So those are going to be the first ones that I decrease from when I start my diet, and then next will be a little bit of a combination of fats and carbs the next time I decrease my total calorie intake. I'm still going to be doing the same training program that I'm on, and I'm pretty much going to ride it out until I stop making progress. I've been progressing pretty consistently on this program, and I like it a lot. Now, it's more of a bulking, strength gain, and muscle gain kind of program. So after I top out how strong I'm going to get, I'm going to switch over to something that's probably a little bit more powerlifting focused, a little bit more focused on injury prevention and being safe, but continuing to lift heavy as I lose weight. Now, and likely it's going to be still 4 days a week of lifting weights. I'm going to add in 1 day of cardio a week. That's going to be likely Wednesdays, could be Sundays. Wednesdays are my day off from lifting because I do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I take Saturdays totally off. So my options are Sunday after I'm done cooking all my food, or Wednesday while I have a day off. Haven't really decided which one that one's going to be, so I'll probably test out Wednesday first and then add in Sunday when I need it. Now let's say I lose 1 pound a week on my first week with this same amount of calories and cardio as I plan on. Okay, I know typically I drop a good portion of weight in the first week or two of being on a diet. So if I'm only dropping 1 pound, that means my calories are probably right around maintenance, and I'm going to need to drop it a little more. So after that week, I'll kind of reassess and then decide if I want to drop calories again. Now I have a high allowance for calories. 4,000 calories in a day for maintenance is a lot, which means I'm never really going to get to a point where I'm hungry or super hungry on my diet, which is nice for me. I have typically the opposite problem of needing to eat more than I want to gain weight. So everybody has something a little bit different when it comes to adding muscle or losing fat, and I tend to lose fat a little easier and gain muscle a little more. It's a little more difficult to gain muscle. Now, let's say week 1 after I lose 1 pound, week 2 I'm probably going to drop down my calories a little bit more, okay, to about 3,750, maybe 3,800 calories, just taking a little bit off the top, and then I'll probably throw in 1 more day of cardio. My days of cardio are usually burning 300 calories on whatever cardio machine I want. Typically I like doing the uphill walking on the treadmill is pretty much my go-to. Sometimes I'll run sprints on the treadmill, but that's typically as I get leaner and need to kind of switch it up and I'm bored of doing basic cardio for long periods of time. Or I'll do the bicycle for 30 minutes, or I'll slow jog on the treadmill or jog around town. Cardio to me is, I just want to do the one that's the least boring but also burns the most calories. Typically I can do uphill walking on the treadmill, listen to an audiobook or something, and that distracts me enough to where the 30 minutes passes pretty quick. Now, once I get to where I've got 2 or 3 days of cardio in, I'll start with 1. Week 2 I might throw in a second one depending on how quickly I lose weight, but if I only lose that 1 pound, I'm probably going to start with my calorie drop again because I have such that high allowance, and before I add in another day of cardio. And then if I drop another pound in the next week, then I'll probably filter in a second day of cardio and just kind of work from there. So the goal is to continue to lose somewhere around 1 pound a week while keeping my strength up, and then what I can do if I'm not losing enough fat is take off a couple hundred more, or like another 100 calories for that week. I wouldn't take it from my protein. I'm probably going to keep my protein basically the same the whole time, drop somewhere from my carbohydrates and my fats. I like having a lot of carbohydrates because my workouts are challenging, and I've noticed if I eat more carbohydrates, my workouts go better than if I eat more fats, and I don't have any problem staying full. So definitely going to be prioritizing carbohydrates over fats while I'm in this deficit. Now, as I get closer to the show, that's going to change a little bit, but for the primary focus of my diet, it's going to be decreasing the fats more than it's decreasing the carbs. And then that's basically the gist of my diet. It's really not too challenging, at least it's not too challenging for me to lose fat. It's a fairly basic program in the sense that all I'm doing really is decreasing my calories slightly each week and then adding in 1 more day of cardio where I shoot for burning around 300 calories on the treadmill, or somewhere around 30 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes of high intensity cardio, and then just kind of go from there and roll with the punches. I've done this before. I've cut down maybe 4 times in the past, and typically I do it too quickly. So this time I'm going to be more moderate with how quickly I drop my calories and how quickly I add in more cardio. I think that that's going to be a pretty solid plan for me. On Monday, I'm going to get my body fat taken in a 7-point caliper test, and then I'll go from there as kind of my baseline. I would guess I'm somewhere around 13%, and the goal is to reach somewhere around 6%. So I've got 7% to drop in 18 weeks. I think that's pretty doable for me. Setting up a diet plan for yourself is very similar. You want to start with what your current trend is. Okay, my current trend is gaining weight. If you don't know what your current trend is, then you need to track that. Track it for a week or two, see if you've been gaining weight or see if you've been losing weight. Okay, another thing you're going to want to do is track your food intake. If you don't have any idea what your food intake is, realistically it's just a shot in the dark whether or not you're losing weight or gaining weight each day and each week and over a long period of time. Tracking your food is one of the easiest ways to lose fat, at least for me and for a good portion of other people too. Now, you want to keep your protein high, kind of like I said, and then the weight training is to, one, keep your strength, two, build a little bit of muscle depending on where you are at in your fitness journey, and then adding in a day of cardio as you continue to lose fat. So that's the gist of my plan. Thanks for watching. Tyson Winder signing out.